Hey everybody, this is Emily Moyer, and I am the co-host and producer at Off Planet Media, Off Planet Radio, Matrix Mash. I also do Words with Danny here, and I am also a nutrition consultant and lifestyle coach. And I have been experimenting with the carnivore diet, and I'm going to give an update on that in just a little bit. And I'm taking this time while I'm experimenting with the carnivore diet to reflect on all the other diets I've tried in the past and let people know sort of what my experiences were with those diets, as I also inform them about what's happening with this carnivore experiment. But before I do that, I just want to update you on some things that I have going on right now. First of all, I want to thank everybody who joined us last weekend for the Conspiracy Cocktail Meet and Greet. It was from my point of view, overwhelming success, and we will be doing the first regular event this weekend on Saturday. It's going to be an hour later. It's going to be at 5 o'clock. So if you would like to join us there, we are going to be mixing up gimlets. We're going to be discussing the lesser known aspects and possibilities of the secret space program, and we'll be enjoying a ride with Pleasure Craft for some cosmic techno. And it will be at 5 o'clock this time. If you haven't joined us in the Conspiracy Cocktail Facebook, please join us at Facebook, I can't speak English, Facebook group, join us there. That's where the link will be posted, so you can join us. If you are not on Facebook, I both admire you and would love for you also to join us at the event. You just need to send me an email at technobrat21@gmail.com, and I will do my best to make sure you get the link so that you can join us. I also am wanting to let people know that over on Off Planet Radio, our YouTube channel for that is Off Planet Media. We are increasing our content output right now because we have a lot more time. And so it's a good time to join up over there. You can support us at patreon.com/offplanetmedia to get some things that aren't available publicly, the second half of shows, some bonus podcasts. And I'm also happy to announce that starting sometime in the next week or so, there will also be for all of the patrons the ability to join our taking this time to make yourselves happy and healthy sort of chat group that will be happening once a week. I will be doing that there with Dr. Laura Wilson. And for those people who would like to use this time out that we've been put on to make gains in their life, to get happier, to get healthier, I recommend joining us there. I will be giving out a lot of tips that I generally give out with my clients. There'll be some great discussion about just how to maximize this time we have right now. And there will also be some further discounts. Right now, I'm offering very deep discounts on my usual prices for services. There will be even deeper discounts offered to the people who are there for that group. So please join up over there, and I hope to see you. All right, now on to the crux of the video. So today I'm going to talk about my experience on the standard American diet. So I've already talked about my experience as a vegetarian. Well, I guess for most of my early life, I was on the standard American diet as a kid, you know, probably maybe a little healthier than most people because I was an athlete and because my dad wouldn't let me eat a lot of sugar when I would go visit my mom on the weekends. Sometimes we'd get that, but my dad tried to keep it pretty healthy. But I'm talking about more my experience as an adult when you start to take control of your diet for yourself and experiment with things. So I've already talked about my experiences on the vegetarian diet and the vegan diet. I've also gotten into a little discussion about the vegan agenda. And today I'm going to move on chronologically to what my next sort of diet phase was after I came out of vegetarian and veganism. And that was sort of my only real experience with the standard American diet. And so for me, what that was, because I'm not really a standard American, I guess, in a lot of ways, was probably like better quality food than most people on a standard American diet because I'm a foodie and I like fancy restaurants and I've worked in the restaurant industry for a number of years. So for me, the quality of food was probably higher. So it isn't really a standard American diet, but it was probably the closest thing for me. I wasn't on a particular diet. I wasn't really watching my weight in terms of like trying to control it necessarily with a particular type of diet. I also wasn't in heavy training at the time, and nor was I yet awake to the level I am now. So I wasn't like making certain kinds of decisions about food then that I would be later in my life. I was living at times in Austin, at times in Los Angeles, and at times in New York during this period. And for me, I probably ate pretty healthy, except for the fact that I was a sugar addict at this point still. So I would eat good food, but then I would also eat a lot of sugar, a lot of candy. I was obsessed completely with candy, particularly with like Haribo gummy kinds of candies and sour stuff. And then I also, I was drinking during this time. I don't think I've ever been an excessive drinker, but I did a lot of happy houring, a lot of cocktails out at parties. And at certain times during those years, I also was using drugs. I've spoken a little bit about this. I haven't gotten too deeply into it publicly. At some point, maybe I will discuss it a little bit more than I had, but there were periods of time during those years where I was using drugs on a regular basis, sometimes just occasionally. And so that also probably had some effect on what was going on with me physically and nutritionally. But there were also periods of time in there where I completely wasn't. And sometimes I was exercising a lot, sometimes I wasn't. But my general experience with it was that I felt better than I did when I was a vegetarian or a vegan. But I didn't feel anywhere near as good as I did once I figured out how to control how I felt both physically and emotionally with diet. So I would say that I had a lot of ups and downs. Some days my body would feel good when I would exercise. Some days I felt like a bag of lead bricks, or something. Sometimes I slept well, sometimes I didn't. Most of my life, I've been a terrible sleeper. I've experienced better sleep in the last 5 years since really regaining my complete health than ever before in my life. I used to suffer greatly from sleep paralysis. I don't now. But during this time on the quote unquote standard American diet, I felt okay, and that's probably because my standard American diet, other than the sugar, was probably a little better than most people's. I had access to really high quality food. And because of my natural tendency towards exercise from having been a gymnast, I was, doing enough exercise that like I wasn't having horrible body breakdown. But I never felt great. Like I always felt just kind of like something heavy, like I had lead boots on. Right? Like I just didn't feel as free and sort of bouncy or exuberant in my body as I had when I had been a gymnast in my early years. But I definitely felt better than being on the vegetarian or vegan diet. So I've never been a person who was like just on a fast food diet. I did do another probably worse than fast food diet kind of thing that will be the subject of my next video. But that's really all I can say about that. When I just was eating whatever I wanted to eat, whenever I wanted to eat it. And I, was exercising, but not necessarily like religiously, like I kind of do now. Sometimes I felt okay and sometimes I didn't. Sometimes my body worked well and sometimes it didn't. And I think that like, I don't know what it would be like if I went back to that now. I think we have kind of a window in our 20s, teens, 20s, 30s, where we can do that and be fine. And as we get older, if we want to maintain the same level of quality of life or ability to do certain kinds of activities, which for me is really important. I like staying out all night dancing sometimes. I like, participating in exhilarating activities. So for me, in order to maintain the quality of life that I would like to have, moving into a more intentional diet has been helpful. So that's all I can really say about that. Yeah, so I just wanted to moving through chronologically. Now I'll get into the carnivore diet and the updates here. So I am now almost to the end of the 3rd week on the carnivore diet. I have been strictly eating animal products, except for one time a week I will have cocktails and a meal where I eat other things, just because that's what I do in my regular life. No matter what diet I'm on, I like to enjoy. I'm a foodie and I like to enjoy that. So Saturday nights I've been having sort of, fun with my whatever I eat and drink. That we're doing conspiracy cocktail, I'm joining in with drinks. But other than that, I've been eating nothing but meat, eggs, a little bit of dairy, which I'm gonna part of the issue that has been, it wasn't quite as bad this week for me as it was last week, was the boredom with just eating meat. I don't generally eat dairy except for occasional heavy cream. But I have been over the last week and a half or 2 weeks eating more heavy cream than I would normally do, and a little bit of cheese and whatnot, partly just because of the textural desire for something other than meat. The texture issue has been like a bigger deal for me than like flavor or whatever. So I've been doing a little bit of that, and that's been helping. There has been a shift over the course of the last week. Last week, I was really bored with the diet, and I was really bored. It was like kind of getting me down. And I was having a lot of some trouble falling asleep at night and stuff like that. Some of that has shifted this week. First of all, I'm not eating quite as much this week as I had been before. Like, my body seems to have adapted to this diet to where I'm not like kind of feeling hungry or trying to sort that out anymore. I've still been doing a fat coffee in the morning. Next week, I'm going to not. Next week, I'm just going to drink regular coffee, maybe with a little heavy cream, and see what happens with that, because there is an item that I put in the bulletproof coffee, which is the brain octane oil that isn't technically carnivore. It's made from coconut oil. So I'm going to see what happens when I eliminate that next week. But this week, I've been eating less. I varied it a little bit more. We did some different stuff. Like, I made like a cool pizza where I used ground beef as the crust and then put stuff on top. I've eaten a little more eggs, and a little bit of chicken, even though I'm not a huge chicken person. I had some shrimp. I had some other seafood. And so I've been keeping the variety up a little bit, but also I'm just not as hungry this week as I had been before. So that's helping. I don't feel like I'm just endlessly eating steak anymore. The other thing is I started adding in some more herbs. From some research, I found that it's okay to do some seasonings and stuff like that on my food. So that's made it a little bit more exciting. But this is what I'll say for sure. I am feeling way better than I have been feeling for a while. Some of the like awesome like gains in my life and in my body and in my health I had made over the last several years that had kind of plateaued, and in some cases seemed like they weren't working quite the same way anymore. This has taken care of that. I'm feeling super energetic. My energy is even throughout the day. It's weird. Sometimes in the middle of the day, I'll get like a buzz feeling like you would normally get from like coffee or from something like that, but I haven't had any coffee. And I just don't feel like I want to nap. As far as exercise, like the first week or two, it had been a little more difficult. That's done. I have plenty of energy to exercise now. I'm doing harder workouts. I'm sweating a little bit more, which is something I generally don't sweat a lot. So that's good. That's probably helping me move toxins through. What else can I tell you? I've been checking the pH on my urine because somebody asked me when I first started this. They're like, oh, I'm concerned that might make things too acid, and that creates an environment for like Morgellons or something like that. But my pH level hasn't changed at all since the first week. It's been on the lower level, the lower side, the more acidic side of still the healthy range, and it hasn't changed at all. It's exactly the same every time I do it. So I don't think that the fears about this making your body overly acidic are well-founded, at least not in my experience yet. My body doesn't feel that. It feels great. My back in general is feeling better. I had been dealing with some back stuff the last year and a half. It's a little bit sore today. I've been doing some extra things with my exercise that I hadn't done in a while, so it may just be soreness from that. My skin is amazing still. I haven't had a breakout or not a single zit, acne, anything like that the whole time I've been doing this. And that's amazing for me. I've struggled with my skin a lot as an adult, which I never did as a young person. So that's been really good. Some other people around me have become interested in what I'm doing and are considering trying it. And I have definitely lost a few pounds, or I don't know, I don't weigh myself, so it's hard to tell. I'm short. But some of the stuff that was going on with my body that I didn't really like how it looked and that I hadn't been able to kind of overcome for the last several months, that seems to be being handled. I'm not quite all the way there yet, but I'm getting there quickly. And that is exciting. And my feelings about my body are improving. I am surprised at how good I felt. I didn't know if I didn't really believe that you could just not eat vegetables and be healthy. But so far, so good. Every day, my position changes on what I'm going to do with this at the end of the month. It's funny. It's like every day I have a new idea or whatever. And usually it depends on if I'm feeling tired of eating meat that day or not. So at this moment today, I'm feeling like I'm going to continue doing this. until I get to the spot where I'm happy with my body, and then I'll decide what I'm going to do from there. But that may change tomorrow as well. So yeah, that's kind of the update. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to tell you guys about it. Oh, for sure. I'm getting way more work done than I usually get done. And I think part of that is because I don't spend as much time thinking about what I'm going to eat, because I already know what the answer is. And the other thing is I just feel better. We're in a weird situation right now, but I have been busier than usual. I've had more clients. I've had more things that I'm doing as far as the show and these new groups and events that I'm working on to keep us all busy, entertained, happy, and healthy, and all that jazz. And I felt a lot more motivated, and I've been getting a lot more done. And that's exciting. So far so good with the Carnivore. And that's it. I have exciting stuff coming up. I told you guys about some of it in the beginning. Have some cool interviews I'll be doing for my work on Off Planet. There'll be more videos coming here, so make sure you subscribe here if you haven't, the Emily Moyer YouTube channel. Also check us out at Off Planet Radio. And if you would like a nutrition consultation or some life coaching, if you would like help navigating your way out of the mind control experience, I'm available for that. I'm offering discounts right now. Hit me up. You can find me on Facebook at Emily Moyer, or you can email me at technobrat21@gmail.com. I look forward to talking to you all. Take care.